Today, Governor Maura Healey delivering new data highlighting the economic impact of recent college affordability investments from the state.
Western Mass News reporter Madison Lisowski is joining us live in studio after breaking down the details of the report. Madison.
Yeah, Chris and Amanda, today's announcement essentially saying that Massachusetts degrees pay off. The Department of Higher Education shared new numbers that show those who graduate from public colleges and universities here in the Bay State earn a significantly higher number than those without degrees, and specifically they earn $20,000 to $30,000 more per year. This in-depth study also highlights that individuals who pursue degrees in high-demand fields such as health sciences, STEM, and the skilled trades experience the most significant boost in their post-graduation earnings. Governor Healey attributes a portion of this success to her administration's dedication to making college more accessible and affordable. A key initiative involves doubling state financial aid, a move that translated to over $130 million in savings for Massachusetts students in the 2023 to 2024 school year alone. Furthermore, the state has expanded opportunities by offering free tuition and fees at community colleges for all, and to Pell Grant eligible students at public 2- and 4-year institutions. The long-term benefits extend beyond individuals. Public higher education graduates are more likely to remain and work here in Massachusetts, directly reinvesting their earnings and talents into our state's economy. However, the governor emphasizes that efforts in higher education will be ongoing.
So the bottom line is that we're going to continue to look for any number of different ways to create opportunities for people in the state. Opportunities so that they can succeed, go out and make money, that their families will have greater economic mobility. And as a result, we're going to see our state do even better and better.
Now, to ensure continuous oversight and transparency, the Department of Higher Education will now annually update its post-college earnings metric on a public dashboard so anybody can see it, and it will track both student and state success. But Governor Healey says that the data is clear. Massachusetts degrees truly do deliver. Reporting live in studio, Madison Lisowski, Western Mass News.